there were stumbling blocks on our way. First of all, somebody was parked behind us in my compound. We knocked and knocked for minutes before they could open. Finally, they opened and we got to the road. There was traffic. We got to the hospital. The doctors were not available. The doctor we met was available, but the doctor said the baby was coming with the legs, which is a breech pregnancy. So she doesn't know how to deliver a breech baby. So she called on phone. Somebody was trying to direct her. Said she cannot risk somebody's life over a telephone conversation. Something she has not done before. She cannot risk it. Yes. So I loved what she did. So we were waiting for consultants. That Thursday was actually my clinic day. The day I was supposed to do my scan. The day I was supposed to see the gynae, you know. So we just went with my baby things in case. Immediately the doctor saw me that I was fully dilated. That was how she saw that the baby was great and what have you. So
You eventually had to have this serious.
that one. He had the CS. It was an emergency CS this time. You know, I was asking for CS normally before, but this time it was an emergency CS.
So take us to the point where, so now, let's assume we are at the point where the CS has been done, and then we're supposed to be looking at your baby. What was it that happened? What was the information and the news you got?
Okay, so after the CS was done, I walked with my leg into the hospital. They wheeled me into the labor ward. It's not as if I was weak. They said they wheeled me into the theater. My baby's heartbeat, everything was fine, was perfect. Even though it took the doctors a lot of time to get to me, because it was a teaching hospital, and the doctors said they had to, this one had to come and do this one had to come and do that. So all of them, they had to be on ground. If I'm not mistaken, I think I had like 8 doctors on ground for the operation. Or more, I can't even, because I can't remember anymore. So I was sedated, and I couldn't remember what happened in the theater, you know. And that took me back to the baby shower we had. We had the sister that had the twins, and she was talking about her experience of how she was sedated and how the whole thing looked like a film to her. In my mind, since they've already told me that I'm having vaginal delivery, I wasn't really interested, because everybody was giving advice of how delivery was, how babies, you know. So at this moment, I was just remembering everything she told me. We should choose the word of God, because when times like this come, it's the word of God that we know that will help us come out through difficult times, you know. So I held on to that word, and I was just chewing the word of God, and you know, voila, I found myself in the room. But while I was in theater, I noticed that everything was blurred somehow. Somehow I could hear voices, but I couldn't pick what they were saying. Before I went into the theater, I told them the clothes to wear my baby when they give birth to my baby, you know, and everything. So went into the theater, my husband was there. So when I finally woke up, I raised my head, I saw blood, pumped, I saw a drip.
So they were actually transfusing you?
Yes. I saw a drip. I saw one yellow thing, they said it's placenta. Then I had like 2 tubes in my body. One was for urine, they said the other one was for in case I had anything. So not knowing that I had internal bleeding, and during the process of bringing out my baby, the baby died.
Okay, so let me stop you there, because it's a very sensitive and emotional word. So you woke up to the news that your baby had passed.
I didn't wake up to the news that my baby had passed. They didn't tell me. My husband didn't tell me. I husband said the baby was in the ICU.
How did you find out?
So when my husband said the baby was in the ICU, for those that know me, I really love pictures. I had already done a baby bump shoot, to post my pictures when I give birth. So I told my husband, I want to snap. She is the clothes. Is it the clothes I said they should wear the baby that they wear? Is it this, the cap, everything? She said yes. So I said, go and snap my baby for me. Now, who does it look like? Does he have hair? Because is it black? Is it fair? Because my husband is dark and fair. My husband, like, it was everything I asked him. Like, he was just answering. So I said, I go and snap baby for me. He said he will go. He just wants to be with me for a while. So I understand that if the baby was in ICU, and in my mind it did not even go to the fact that maybe the baby was dead or anything at that point, no. But I noticed that my husband held my phone from me. In fact, he did not give me my phone. Then when people call him, he will walk out of the room to make the calls. We don't used to live like that. So it was strange. I said, go and snap my baby, I'm not going. He said I should calm down, I shouldn't. And because of all these things, I don't want me to be tense. And I should just calm down. I said, is it those my baby's picture of the baby? Since they say I cannot move. Let me see my baby, let me see. Say, if he snaps the baby and I carry the baby, what's the difference? I like pictures too much. Just turn to call and say, okay. I left it the first day. The second day I woke up, snapped my baby. He tell me that.
So at what point how long did it take him to be able to break the news to
He
you?
couldn't hold it anymore.
On the second day, do you recall how you reacted?
So he went, when I told him that he should go and bring, at least if the baby was in the ICU, he should snap the baby, or let me walk down to the ICU to see the baby. So the next thing I saw was if you know teaching hospitals, you know how maybe a consultant is in front, all the team, yes, all of them they are around. So all of them they now walked in. Madam, how you doing? Looking better today. We came in the morning to check you, blah blah blah, and you were sleeping. And what have you? The guy named with over 30 years experience was there. She was the one that brought the news to me. She said, actually, when we were doing everything, there's something we call abruptio placenta.
What is that in English language?
They said the placenta ruptured and it affected the baby. So when they brought out the baby was.
When you heard that, what were you even able to process it?
I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say at that point. I didn't know what to say. I just knew it was my fault. I just knew if I had brought out this baby early, maybe the abruptio placenta wouldn't have happened. And I told her, because I've learned not to keep quiet when I need to say things out. I told her, pop her plane. If I had brought out this baby with CS, with everything I told you I've been through, we won't be having this issue. She said I should calm down, that I don't know what I've been through, that they had 4 pints of blood put in me. And they are still surprised that it's a miracle that I'm alive. I did not react to any of the blood infused in me. I had internal bleeding that please, I should just calm down. I shouldn't make things difficult for me.
Let me stop there because we're going to come back there. Okay. We'll take a short break and we'll come back. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. As you know, I have hijacked from my page. My name again is Nkoye. We've been dealing or talking on the topic pregnancy, delivery, and the loss of a child or the baby. And then if you've been watching, which I encourage you to, Fome has taken us through her lost journey, or the journey so far. And so Fome, let me ask you, so now we are at the point where they have told you that your child passed, your baby didn't make it. So how has it been? So bring us to the point where you're out of hospital now. How have you coped? Did society help? What has it been like?
You know, when reality hits you, you might not know what to say. And even at the clinic, I hate when people pity me. So some nurses will come, some were friendly, some will say I have to just, people say different things to me of how I should pick myself up. My son's teacher then told me that it was the calabash, the water that poured, it's not the calabash that got broken. I should try and be cheerful. And you know, one thing I always say, I held on to God's word. At that point, I soaked myself in a lot of worship. And the words that were ministered to me at that point really helped my life a lot. Reality dawned when I came back home. And thank God, because the first pregnancy that I said we had to terminate was visible. We were living in a smaller apartment that time. So when I got pregnant again, I was close to delivery. We had to move out of that place to get a bigger space to welcome baby, and you know. So I was, in some ways, I was happy when we left that vicinity, because before they start stigmatizing me that is it every time that she gets pregnant that something will happen, you know, something will happen. So I was happy that we left that previous vicinity and we're in a new environment. But this new place, I came with a big tummy. I was asking my husband, so when I go home, what will I say? What will people say? What will people say kept on coming to mind, you know? So when I entered the gate, there's this woman that helped us. You know, I said my neighbor was blocking was parked behind us and refused that we're not here to open. There's this lady downstairs, because we just moved into this new place, so we didn't have their numbers. So the lady gave us their number. So she's like, are you back? Where is baby?
Wow.
And at that point, I just smiled and I moved upstairs. At that point, I smiled and moved upstairs. I stayed in the clinic for a while before I came back. So at that point, I just smiled and moved upstairs. And I think later, maybe she just put all her own together. Since she saw my husband packing, carrying no baby, so she just stayed in Bola and see me. So I stayed in the house. I was trying to heal from the courts, you know, and I was still telling myself if I was healing from the courts and I could see what gave me the courts, you know, I think I would have healed faster. Even at the clinic, the doctors, when I say the doctors were efficient, they weren't.
Yeah, we're going to even get to that question, but let me ask, do you think society, I know you're a very strong person. I mean, with what you have, even if, with what you have said so far, and your courage to be able to, you know, even tell your story barely a year after is laudable. But would you say society helped in any way? Or would you say we live in a very judgmental society?
Will I say society helps? Will I say we live in a judgmental society? Okay, with these things that have happened to me this period, I really know this power of people, good people around you. It's good to surround yourself with people with positive vibes. So in case by chance or by error you're having any form of negativity, they will just help you knock it down. So I think because of the kind of people I have in my circle, they try to bring me out of everything I went through, you know. Some people will say, like when I had my son, people came, gave my son gifts, you know. I was just thinking of different things. And I had some friends that would say, "Oh man, I know that you lost your baby, but there's nothing I can do to bring your baby back." Some people will give me cash gifts. Some people came, they came with food, they came with advice, they came with prayers, you know. And somehow society helps me.
Well, I think
Because of my circle of friends.
Thank you. So if I'm going to take away anything from what you have just said, it's the power of choosing the right circle.
Yeah.
The power of choosing the right circle. All right. So, if you were going to, unfortunately, we are in a society where it's as if certain professions can do what they like, and there are no penalties for it. Would you say the doctors did everything they could, or would you say they were careless?
Okay, so when we got to the clinic, you know, I said the previous doctor I got married to, the previous doctor that saw me initially that said I was fully dilated, said she cannot deliver a breech baby. So she started calling for the consultants, the number did not go through, other doctors, somewhere in traffic, coming to work that morning because we left quite early. What was quite early? Like 8, 7, 8 were in the hospital. So the doctors were not on ground. The ones that were on ground, they don't know how to go about it. So I think the person I was even supposed to give me the injection for the operation was not around. So they had to wait for the person. A whole lot of delay.
And please, I need you to tell the world, Nigerians, everybody listening, that you did not go to a quack hospital because we are kind people. We're not going to say the name of the hospital, even though I'm at the verge of just announcing them. But you know, because we're kind people, please, I need you to help them understand that you did not go to a roadside hospital. You attended all your antenatal clinics, and you didn't, you know, because anybody hearing this, some people might just say, which kind of hospital did she go to? Well, what kind of, you know, but I need you to help them understand that you did not go to just any, you went to one of the top hospitals in Lagos.
I went to a private teaching hospital in Ikeja. That's all I'm going to say. A private teaching hospital in Ikeja. Very big.
Right. I think we should, let's take, it's not time, but we just have to take a 2-3 minutes break so that Fume can catch her breath.
So initially I was really upset with friends and family that they show up instantly. I was very blunt with them. I was really blunt. I was not having mercy on anybody. If you are very close to me, you know I'm very open. If you're not doing the right thing with me, I'll just tell you straight up. I don't care. You know, people that didn't come to me on time, I didn't spare them. I had a very close friend of mine. In fact, me and her son and my son, we go to school together, and she didn't bother to call me, she didn't check on me. Every time she keeps chatting me, and I said, "What are you chatting me for? Are you trying to chat me so that when God forbid, when I die, or when they die, you say we chatted yesterday?" Because that's what people do now on social media. She now said, "No, why am I saying that? This time she called me." It was then I now realized.
She didn't know what to say.
Apart from that, I didn't know what I had gone through. My husband did not tell me the story that I was almost going, that I had internal bleeding, and the doctors advised that I don't take calls, nobody should call me, you know. So initially I was upset with some family and friends. Everybody that keeps calling, my friends will be calling my husband. My husband will say, "This person said I should greet you," you know. I was mad because I know my people and my people, they know me, and they're now going to my husband. You know, it was really crazy. It That was when I now realized that my husband restricted people from calling me. So at times, if you don't hear from two parties, you get upset, you get offended. I had a lot of people turning up to come and say hello. My family, but I was really upset that my mom didn't even come to stay with me when I was pregnant. But I didn't know that she had the challenges. I'll go into that. Yes. So, and so that's it. My family, everyone tried.
Your husband's family?
My husband's family, they're not based in Lagos.
Okay.
Yes, so but their calls, their prayers, they were, at least I'm sure they consoled my husband in his own way. You know, when things like this happen, at times we might want to start picking faults and, you know, dealing with things, saying things of how things did not work, how things were supposed to work, especially with the doctors, with people that were supposed to help initially that didn't help. In fact, I would even want to say that in fact I didn't get, because like I said with my son's pregnancy I could do everything, but with this pregnancy I was doing everything, but somehow I would get tired, and when I tell my sister, they're like, you carry the belly for leg and for hand, you know, that kind of thing, because everybody knows that you're lazy, you know, so stuffs like that. But when this happened and, you know, everybody was rallying around me, my husband's former colleagues, my sisters, my friends, my church family, were awesome people. My neighbors, my new neighbors, and my old neighbors, they all showed up for me.
Alright, we thank God for good family members, both nuclear and extended, and also non-biological family members.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to women who are going through or have been through this? Because if there's anything, you know, sometimes society just makes you carry shame unnecessarily. Something terrible happens to you, and rather than people helping you see that it's not your fault, they give you this cloak of shame to wear. And sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of people are carrying shame that they have no business carrying. So what would you say to women who have gone through or are going through this? I mean, you are blessed to have a son. There are some women who have gone through what you're going through and still don't have anything to show for it. What would you say to them?
So when you use that word shame, and when I came back home for a while, though I couldn't really walk very smartly, I couldn't go downstairs, I couldn't really do things to myself. I also felt ashamed to go to the places that you saw with pregnancy. At times it's not in society, at times it's your own mind first of all. Because some people are seeing me pregnant and they're like, now every year I will go. You know, they don't even know if the babies were alive. You know? So on my own, I drew a line of where I would go and where I would not go. I don't want people to. In fact, my previous neighborhood, I did not go to that place at all because I was making my head there. I was buying my provisions there. I just didn't go to that axis at all. I didn't want anybody to ask me any questions, so I'm not start feeling. I didn't go to that side. I didn't even. So some of my very close friends and family members that were living in that axis, you know, that would come to the house. I think put to bed. You know, so I didn't want to go to that. So first of all, I would not say it's society. It's your mind. It's your mind. For me, it was my mind. I don't know any woman going through this what it was for them. It was my mind. I felt like, God. So people will be asking me questions. I'll be answering them. I know at that period I was pregnant. You know, when you're pregnant, you have a lot of pregnant friends. Another thing. When you are pregnant, you have a lot of pregnant friends. Remember I said when we were having the baby shower, we had for me and somebody in my church. She gave birth and baby is fine. In fact, I gave birth 25th of May. She gave birth 29th of May. No, 27th, Children's Day. And that kind of brought a bit of happiness to me. Like, I thank God, what happened to me did not happen to her. Because it should have been double tragedy. So it boils down to your mind. You need to work on your mind first.
So what you're saying is that the society does not have the power over your mind, because we cannot deny the fact that the society does clothe people with shame sometimes. But if there's anything I'm going to take away from this is, regardless of what the society wants to throw at you, it's your mind over matter.
Yes, it's your mind.
It's your mind first. If you
It's
can
your
settle
mind.
it in your mind,
Yes, it is settled.
then let it
It's settled. I don't know how I had the courage. I said, to hell, I'm going out. In fact, I stood up because of this. I was having the stitch with the plaster, and I was not taking care of my son bit by bit. I think that helped me come out of it. I was taking care of my son bit by bit, and the good news is that people around me that were pregnant, in fact, your mind will play a lot of tricks on
You
you.
begin to fear for other women.
A lot of tricks. My mind was telling me that some people that were pregnant that period did not want to associate themselves with me.
Oh.
Yes. So if I call you and you don't pick, I just
Assume.
and maybe you feel I'm a source of negativity. So everything is in the mind. It's not in that person's mind. That person might be going through what they are going through, but my mind has already said this is what and this is that. So it's the mind.
Okay, so as we draw this to a close, let's deviate a bit. Let's talk about your mom and family. Okay, so at ordeal,
Yeah.
only for you to discover that she was going through an ordeal of hers. I know your mother lives with you. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What led to it, and
Okay, so my mom had various accidents while we were growing up, and that almost led to the loss of her life, but thank God she's alive. So it's somehow affecting her knees. That was one. Her legs were being affected, and so she couldn't really come over to help. So after she finished massaging and she gained a bit of balance, she came. She said she cannot stay. So she came to help out with things in the house. So she has been with me since last year. And I noticed some things and took her to the clinic and said it was like dementia. Yes. So my mom has been with me since. She came to nurse me for
you ended up nursing?
So like I always say, I'm a makeup artist, I'm a mother, I'm a caregiver to my mom, and I'm happy to do all this.
And I think the presence of your mom, and you can tell me if you agree with this, I think the presence of your mom coming and you discovering that there were health challenges was a good distraction for you from what you were going through, because now you had to just positively come out of your own cocoon which you have been in and begin to now focus your attention on someone else, and that helps you live faster. Yes or yes?
Yeah, yes it did.
Okay, I would like to thank you very much. I think more women need to speak up, and I think your voice should be heard. I think more women should talk about their journey. I think we need to speak up more until we get to that point where let me shake a bit of tables where doctors can be held accountable. Until then, I would like to say, women, please speak up, share your story, and please build your mental strength so that society doesn't have an edge over you. I'd like to thank you very much for letting me hijack your YouTube channel today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Nkoye.
Thank you. My name is Nkoye Lisa. Once again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, and I remain
Ome.
Fix me. Woo!